Thank you very much for the introduction. I appreciate the time that you spent uh, looking up my information on the internet. That's not creepy. No, so look, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm gonna go from on and off because I can't see far, but if I put them on, I can't see the screen. Logistics, third-party logistics. Does anyone here know what that means or what that is before I start talking about it? No, all right. So essentially, companies that manufacture things or companies that sell things perhaps that they don't manufacture, they import from other countries. They're good at their business. They're good at building things, or they're good at selling things, but they're not good at managing the assets that they own. And that's where a third-party logistic company comes in. What we do is we centralize their supply chain. We help them make decisions on when to buy, what to get rid of, how fast their inventory is turning. A lot of data analytics involved in this, but essentially we help companies focus on what they do best, and we do the things that maybe they don't have the talent for, or aren't built to focus on those kinds of things. That's what third-party logistics does. And some of it's not so glamorous, but some of it's pretty interesting. So I'm going to talk to you a little about the company and what we do, who we serve. Then we'll talk about, as my organization, what we call our playbook to win. We call it the Sunland Management System, very similar to like a quality management system. Then we'll just go into high-level overview of my IT department, and then more specifically, the department where we're going to have an internship available for students in the summer. Okay. Look, we specialize in lean logistics, supply chain visibility, value-added services. Yes, there's a lot of labor involved, and we talked about earlier, he said we have 600, 800 employees. A lot of that workforce are labor positions. Roughly 200 positions are like salaried professionals, whether that be in engineering or IT or sales or operations, logistics, leadership. That's what that core team looks like. Look, our motto is that we help our customers do what they do better, right? So if they're trying to build a car, we help them build a car better, maybe improving their line side delivery for manufacturing, helping identifying gaps in their supply chain and helping to mitigate or address those, identifying non-conformance issues with their suppliers so that they can get, so that they know the value that they're getting from who they're buying from, those types of things. And while a lot of this is operational, they can't do it without IT, right? And we'll get into what we do for these warehouses in the forthcoming slide. But this, what you're seeing is our leadership team. Pretty standard across the organization: sales, operations, finance, chief operating officer, chief customer officer, CEO. But what's important about this is, look, it's a really tight team, and we are really focused on our core values. Our core values are at the bottom. That's safety first. In this kind of industry, you're going to have accidents. Racks fall. People are operating forklifts improperly. Heavy stuff moving around in a warehouse. It can be, safety can be an issue. So that's one of our core areas of focus. Servant leadership. The culture at Sunland, they really care about every team member. We don't even call them employees. Every team member that we have within our organization, from the bottom, from the janitor to the CEO. I mean, like that, we really try to look out and do the best for our people. And that's not all about like, it's not necessarily helping or doing things for you, but it's helping you become better. And sometimes that involves feedback. It's servant leadership isn't about what can I do for you to make your life better. It is, that's a part of it, but it's what can I do for you to help you make your life better, make your career better. And with that, we're always striving for continual learning. We are, we're on the hook every year to continue to learn. Every salary team member has to accomplish 20 hours of learning in some way, shape, or form. Now that could be through a class, or that could be through whether it's online or more formal, or going to a conference and learning different ways that people learn, and we track it and we encourage it. And the results matter. We are really focused on MBOs, hitting our business objectives from the bottom to the top, and measuring and reflecting and setting the bar as we hit the targets. But we measure things all the time. Where are we located? Mostly in the Southeast. There's a lot of opportunity in the upstate, and Charleston and Savannah is where a lot of our key operations are, but we're looking to expand up in California, and up in the Midwest, and looking to grow in Texas. So we are growing, and our culture is we align with our customer. If our customer wants to be somewhere and there's an opportunity for us to win collectively, then we'll invest in those locations. That's what we did in California. It's all alone by itself, but we're doing pretty well in Fontana. Who do we help? We talked about some of the customers that we serve during the intro, but we have different verticals and different kinds of operations that we want. Supplying a brick and mortar store is different than an e-commerce, is different than manufacturing. They're all different solutions, and we have customers that have different needs within those areas. But what we're really good at, manufacturing of automotive, is and handling of chemicals. That can be a tricky area. There's a lot of compliance and safety related things that a company has to really have down solid to serve chemical companies. And it's important for us to make sure that our team members are safe, and our customer's product is safe, and their reputation, right? It's one thing to have an accident you can recover from, but your reputation is harder to recover from. So we really make sure that we're strong in that area. Okay. Talked about our playbook for success. This is what we call our Sunland management system, and it operates on the premise of three components, needing to do well in three components to drive two different outcomes. First is high performance team, right? When you talk about the team that's doing things, we believe that 8% of that success is going to come from the team, and 20% of that is going to be from the process and the technology and tools that we give to the team to be successful. So number one component is having a strong team. Number two is process leadership. You have to be able to execute repeatedly, successfully. So having strong process leadership and ways of doing the things in a standard way is going to ensure that you're consistently performing and having the results that you're trying to achieve. The third part of that is technology. You've got to have strong team. You've got to have strong process. And then what you're able to do is leverage advanced technologies and innovations to enable the team to do better things. Those three things are going to result in two things. One, creating value for our customers. And when our customer wins, we win. They either grow with us, or they want to do more business with us, or they refer us to someone else. We gain customer trust. That quantified value is truly important. The other flip side of it is, look, we've got to be successful to continue to grow. So our own financial performance is also an outcome of that. So 3 inputs, 2 outputs. That's pretty much how we do everything that we do, whether it's something that's customer facing or internal. We always think of those 3 components and how they relate to our own financial performance and value to our customer. So IT professional services. My organization has 3 distinct departments. Workplace security, or workplace infrastructure and security, and typical infrastructure and security team, all in one. A business app, and we'll go into more details, so I'm going to skim over that now. Business application services, they own, we're in supply chain management, so we have a COTS product that we use as a warehouse management system. Well, not all COTS products do things right off the shelf. And we don't typically like to request changes to another company's core product. But what we do is we have built for purpose solutions that we overlay on top of that. So while we're using the core component of the base system, we can customize that to our customers' need. And that's, we're working on a product right now. It's a new platform that sits on top of it, and it's really our customer facing arm of the solutions that we provide. And that's all built for purpose. And I'm pretty excited about that. Should you take an internship with us, you'll learn more about that. It's leveraging AI, it's leveraging a lot of the supply chain data that we have. It's offering our customers a more interactive, easy way of seeing what's going on in their supply chain. It makes us more nimble, more responsive, and it presents it to the end user in a way that's easy to digest and transparent with data. Exciting. And then the other department that we have is business solution services. They really focus on pricing for new customers. How much is it going to cost if we take on this new customer to install infrastructure, to configure a system, to develop whatever gaps we have and what they need as a customer, as a software solution? How do I partner with a site or a customer to find and to identify continuous improvement and then execute to deliver that quantified value from that? So they're more customer facing, where the other 2 teams are more technology services. This other department is business services, and they go to the technology delivery teams when there's a need. So that's the organization. We are supplemented by some partners across the globe that helps us supplement the off hours. The 3 o'clock in the morning, something went wrong. We've always got eyes on it, so we can rest at night. We do typical IT support model, L1, 2, and 3 support. And one of the things that we ensure for our solutions is that our infrastructure is redundant, it's highly available, that we're monitoring, that we're eliminating single points of failure. Everything's hosted in Microsoft Azure. And look, we monitor and we try and maximize uptime through this always on monitoring. Security is also a key component in being able to ensure that to our customers. Okay. So we're going to talk about workplace infrastructure and security. What do? They do everything now. That's from networking, security, user provision, user provisioning, user equipment provisioning. They pretty much, they do it all. And when you talk about warehousing, you think, okay, what does that mean to me? Well, think about a big 500,000 square foot building that you're trying to implement a new business there, and there's nothing there. So I got to install access points because in the warehouse we use RF guns, right? I need to have circuits installed. I need to have MDFs installed. I need to make sure that if my internet service provider goes down, that I've got a backup that's going to automatically turn on when something goes wrong. I've got users that are using computers that are printing to laser printers, label printers, tablets, like all of that kind of technology this team manages. For an implementation. There's a lot of work that they do. Daily operations, they are also responsible for managing. So all of these assets that I've deployed, whether it be user equipment, network equipment, whatever, they got to make sure that it stays healthy, monitoring it, making sure that it's where it's supposed to be being used and the way it was supposed to be used. They monitor all of that. So they've got a huge responsibility on them. What do they use? We're a Microsoft shop mostly. Azure, SQL Server, Entra, I should say, not Azure. We use Ruckus access points. We use Keyence and Motorola scanners. We use Zebra printers, Cisco switches, Lenovo desktops is what we're using right now. And tools that we leverage. So how do we do all this? Well, we've got monitoring tools, like PRTG to monitor the health of whatever. SODI is technology that we use to manage mobile devices. Help desk tickets, we're using SolarWinds Service Desk. And they also have a good network management tool that we use to monitor. Security, we're using Mimecast, and we're using Cylance, we're using Defender. More recently, we started using Tenable. There's a lot of technologies out there. One of the projects that they're doing, which we plan to purchase in the spring, well, in January, is buying a new on-prem server to create an on-prem LLM. And the intent is that we're using a chat bot right now. It's not that intelligent. It does a few things, but how do we leverage the data that we have over the years that we've accumulated to make our chat bot more engaging and informative and useful to our customers in this platform that I mentioned earlier. Our infrastructure team is going to lead that effort in provisioning and setting that up and building the rules around that, importing of data, and then selecting folks throughout the organization, not just technology folks, but business folks to help us train this model. So we're pretty excited about that. That is probably something you would be working on or involved in some way, shape, or form if you were to consider us for an internship. So let's talk about that. We're looking for interns in summer 2026. For sure. Could there be an opportunity in the spring? Maybe, but there's definitely an opportunity in the summer. You would be working for the infrastructure team. The caveat here is we're in Greenville, right? You'd have to be there. Kind of work you'd be doing, the technology support, all of the assets and all of the users that we maintain and that we service. You would be doing some of that infrastructure support management. You're going to learn about how we administer servers, how we administer security, how we administer anything. You're going to learn a lot. Probably not a deep dive in any one area, but really a breadth of knowledge across the organization. Cybersecurity support. Look, vulnerability management, risk management, definitely have some tasks and learnings in that area that'll help you and grow. If this is where you want to focus your career in cybersecurity, we've got a great director of infrastructure who is a CISO, who he's got a lot of information. And if you're looking to learn and grow, I've got a great person that can help you do that. Very engaging and loves to see people succeed and learn and do great things. And also project management and execution. It's one thing to know how to do the things or to be knowledgeable in any one area. If you can't execute, it doesn't matter how smart you are. If you can't, I've worked with a lot of smart people over the years that are brilliant, and you sit them in a room and they've got all these great ideas and you ask them to execute, they can't do it. You're going to learn some project management, time management, working collaboratively across the team to help you in that and learning how to execute well. Requirements, you've got to be computer science. I prefer computer science, but related information and any kind of IT. Computer science is kind of very specific, but anything IS, IT, CS, absolutely. Junior, good standing, junior, senior. You got to be able to get to work. So reliable transportation is a must, and it's not remote and it's not telecommute. You'd be on there engaging other team members. That, in my opinion, when you're starting, that's the best way to learn. Is to have someone that you can stop every 5 minutes, say, well, what about this? And have that feedback and have someone that you can work along with and help you grow.
Yeah, our program covers all the IT infrastructure, cybersecurity network. What you're asking for is really an IT person. We have computer science students upstairs. This is all. We can do it.
Okay. All right. So that was a lot of words. Any questions?
Second back.
Oh, sorry. Now I'll put my glasses on and I can see your hand.
So, you know about when, where the. Can we admit the resume straight to you? What do you think?
Your resume straight to me. What I will do is I'm going to do another one page here. And you will have it here and on that board. You have the two officers with the contact information. I'll put myself in as director of workplace and infrastructure and contact. And what's working with them. Is anyone here from the Greenville area?
Like 3 or 4.
That's great.
And they're allowed to drive up too. I mean, they're in Simpsonville, which is actually on the south side of Greenville.
It is, it's not too bad. I live in Chapin. I don't go every day, although for the last couple of months, we've had a huge deployment. Where I've been up there more than I'd like to. Typically, I'm up there once or twice a week. It's not that terrible. It's a straight line right up 26, 385. There's really never any traffic. But if we have to do it every day, I'm just letting you know, it gets old pretty fast. If you're closer to that area, it probably would be better for you, unless you love to drive, right? Like to drive, listen to music, listen to a book on Audible, something. It's an easy drive.
So concerning logistics, we've had other companies come in that say they're logistics and they're trucking companies, and so forth, for getting merchandise from A to B. You're more about warehousing
warehousing.
Logistics,
We have, so we do have a company that does trucking. But it is not by any means a trucking company. It's more like, in ZF is a German company that makes transmissions in the Simpsonville, Greenville area. And they have a huge plant there, and we have a warehouse supporting them that's 5 miles down the road. We do the trucking back and forth for line side support from product from the warehouse. And yes, that's our trucking company. So there is some things, we might do some round robin things, but we wouldn't call and say, I need to ship this from California to Pennsylvania. And that's not what we do. So it's, yes, there's warehousing. But the market that we're trying to really hit is not necessarily, will you store my boxes for me? It's, will you help me manage my supply chain? Will you help me reduce my inventory costs? Will you help me identify things that are slow movers or fast movers or maybe the things that aren't located geographically in the right part of the country? How can I maximize my supply chain? Those are the value added services that we try to deliver to our customers, because quite frankly, anyone can store some boxes. There's not a lot of technology or brain power involved in that, but when you start doing value added problem solve, how can I help you solve your problems? That's where we want to play, and that's the value that we want to create for our customers.
but you can't, I mean, property in Greenville is a lot more expensive than, say, swampland in Louisiana. So I mean, that the very cost of, hey, maybe we need it down here. How?
We do. So we IT and engineering work very closely. We do have an engineering department, and they look at things like that. So you look at real estate isn't the only factor, right? So that is a factor. How cheap when you're planning to go into an area, what's the price per square foot for a building? Okay, but then there's a flip side. What is employment like in that area? Am I going to be able to get talent? Am I going to be able to retain talent? Sometimes, it's hard for people to get to work, right? I don't have a car, but I need a job. So if I'm going to put a warehouse in the middle of nowhere because the land is cheap, and I have team members that can't get to work because there's not public transportation to get there, then it doesn't matter, right? It kind of takes away. So there's lots of things that we look at when we're going into a place. What is education like for the children of the people that are going to work there? Will I have people that want to move here, or no, because the schools are terrible? Or how affordable is healthcare? How, like, there's a lot of inputs into determining where, right? So I might have a customer that wants to be in a geographic area because their customers are there. But then within that geographic area, wherever I put the warehouse, there's more than just how cheap is it. So yeah, and that's where if you have engineers, we'll get an engineer person in here to talk about internships. Those are some of the things that we do. Also, there's a strong partnering with engineering and IT on some of our automated solutions. You hear about like cobots and robots and drones and, virtual assisted picking, cobots and robots and autonomous vehicles within a warehouse. Those types of things. When we talk about creating value and maybe reducing costs, improving throughput, those are some of the things that we look at, and we do partner closely with our engineering teams to make sure that their grand ideas are reasonable and based in reality. We bring the IT folks in to make sure that we've got a solid plan.
What other questions do you guys have? Go ahead.
Is this the first that you guys are having like students in the company, or is there like a history of other stuff that they've done?
So, no. Well, for IT, we have come to USC before for interns. But no, when we didn't have any applicants, that was maybe like 2 years ago. We do have internships. Like that. And we do get like engineers from Clemson come in, so the internships are really focused around there. We actually have an internship. The most recent internship we had was an engineer that came in who wound up being a part of our business development team. So he's doing pricing and taking customer data to figure out how we can serve our customer and make money and execute business development. But yeah, so
Do you foresee that IT interns moving in full-time opportunities?
100%.
100%.
100%. So that is definitely something that I'd like to do. We have worked in partnership with USC on capstone projects. On the last capstone project that we had, we wanted more work. It didn't like we couldn't do a full-time role for this person, but we did bring like contract. We did contract work with USC with a USC student who had graduated. So while she was trying to find a job, she did some side work for us. So that was great. That was a win-win. She was exceptional. I wish I could have hired her. I just didn't have the budget at that time.
Good question. Well, Melissa, thank you very much.